Welcome back, everybody. I hope everyone is doing well today. I am fine myself, and let's get started. Our first root is dyna, and this means power, energy, and strength. This is a very important word or a root, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in a box, and I'm going to give you two examples for this. One of them is dynamo, meaning a generator of energy. And my second example is going to be dynamic. And that means, and the meaning of that is having physical energy or power. I'm going to go ahead and take this word dynamic and use it in a sentence. The young man is very dynamic. Moving on to our second root is this, meaning abnormal, bad. I'm going to give you an example word right now, and that word is dyslexia, meaning impairment of the ability to handle words. I'm going to go ahead and take this and use it in a sentence. Dyslexic children have a hard time reading. Moving on to our next roots. We have finished the letter D, and we are going to start the letter E. Our first root is the letter E, meaning out and away. This is a commonly used root, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in a box, and I'm going to give you an example, and that example is eject, meaning throw out forcefully. I'm going to go ahead and use this in a sentence, and I'm going to go ahead and use this in a sentence, and I'm going to say the pilot ejected himself from the plane. Moving on to our next root is ego. And ego means self. This is a commonly used root, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in a box there. And I'm going to give you two examples. One of them is egotistic, meaning self-centered. And my other example is going to be alter ego. And the definition or the meaning of that word is a higher aspect of oneself. I'm going to go ahead and use egotistic in a sentence. I'm going to say, his friends think that he is very egotistic. Right, moving on to our next root is M, N. Sorry about that. Had a problem with the pen here. N. And that means into, covered with, and cause. Let's go ahead and give an example here. I'm gonna give the word as an example. It's gonna be empathy. Sorry about that. And empathy. And that means intention to feel like another person. I'm gonna take this and use this in a sentence. Before I move on, I wanna underline this, saying this is also another common root that is widely used. I'm gonna go ahead and use empathy in a sentence now. Empathy. I'm going to go ahead and read that to you. We should use empathy to understand people. Moving on to our next root. N, ni, or end, meaning years. This is a commonly used root, so I'm going to go ahead and make that in a box. And I'm going to give you two examples. One of them is bicentennial, meaning age or period of 2 years. I'm sorry, 200 years. And my next example is centennial, meaning age period of 100 years. I'm going to go ahead and mark the root for you guys so you could see it better. Here's the root and bicentennial, and here's the root in centennial. I'm going to go ahead and take bicentennial and use that in a sentence. I'm going to say the United States is a bicentennial foundation. I'm going to go ahead and read that to you one more time. The United States is a bicentennial foundation. Moving on to our next root is N and N. I'm going to go ahead and give you the definition for this root. It means inside, inwards. And I'm going to give you two examples. One of them is envision, meaning to picture in mind. The other one is inwards, meaning towards the inside. This is another commonly used root, so I'm going to, actually it's widely used, so I'm going to go ahead and mark that for you. And I'm going to use the word envision in a sentence. I'm going to say, he envisioned his childhood when he saw his old toys. I'm going to go ahead and read that to you one more time. He envisioned his childhood when he saw his old toys. Moving on to our next root is epi, meaning on, upon, over, among, at, after, to, and outside. I'm going to go ahead and give you an example, but before I move on, this is another important root, so I'm going to go ahead and mark this for you. And I'm going to give you an example now. And that example word is going to be epicenter, meaning center of an earthquake. I'm going to go ahead and use this in a sentence. I'm going to say the epicenter of the earthquake is 100 miles off the coast of Japan. I'm going to go ahead and read that to you. The epicenter of the earthquake is 100 miles off the coast of Japan. Moving on to our next root is equal, meaning equal, equally. And I'm going to go ahead and give you a example word, which is equation. And that means a statement of equality. I'm going to go ahead and use this in a sentence. The teacher taught the children math equations. I'm going to go ahead and read that to you guys. The teacher taught the children math equations. Moving on to our last root is algo, meaning to work. And I'm going to go ahead and give you an example from here. I'm going to say energy. And the definition is the power of work. I'm going to go ahead and underline the root for you guys so you can see. And I'm going to use this word, an example. I'm going to say, he has the energy to complete all the work for today. I'm going to go ahead and read that to you guys. He has the energy to complete all the work for today. Thank you for listening. I hope you have fun.